It's been so long since I've seen you, Megan. So long since I've seen you.
I know, years.
You look amazing. And Joanna's joined us again in a magnificent blue. I've got Manchester City and Manchester United on either side of me. It's just fantastic. Good morning, Joanna, darling.
Good morning.
Lovely to see you. Kendria's in. It's lovely to see you in a blue. I'm just waving hello. Lovely to see you, Kendria. Beautiful. Damien's with us. And you're at the center of my screen, Damien, like you're the center of my life, mate. This is exciting. I'm so thrilled to see you, brother. Going well?
Going well. The piece I started writing in this group was published. I'll share it in the chat.
This week?
On Friday, just after we left, and it got published.
I tell you what, we did have an idea, Damien, that we would list all the pieces that have been written in Write Club and when they get published. I think, and Damien, we might start with yours. I think it's fantastic. Paul and I will follow in your footsteps, but Damien, congratulations. That is amazing. Oh, my goodness. What a way to start. Mary, lovely to see you, Mary. You going well?
I feel like I could yeah, I'm going well, but it doesn't feel like it because but I'm going well because my supervisor's coming in a couple of hours and we're going to push the intention to submit button.
Well,
but yeah, it feels like it should be good, but it just feels like I've still got so much I could do.
Mary, you are thrilling and magnificent, and we'll share 30 minutes of that 2 hours with you now. Our favourite Susan is back with us. Susan, what a privilege it is to see you. Good evening, madam.
Good evening, everybody. I'm sitting here trying to put the heart for Damien's work on the right place. So I got it. I think I got it.
You got it. Oh, welcome, Susan. We're so thrilled to see you. So wonderful. Kylie's with us once more. Anastasia's with us. How are you, my darling, with the favourite blue headphones? You are legendary. You going all right, darling?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Fantastic. Let's have a great one. Emma's in. Oh, Emma in that glamorous location. You are a superstar. And of course, the Queen herself, Dina, is in. So we've got our favourite people here ready to rumble. Colleagues, I'll see you in 29 minutes. Paul, let's go for this, mate. 29 minutes of power. We're on. See you on the other side, dear friends. Let's go for it. Go on, your Kyles. Last minute, colleagues. And we are finished. Ooh. Ooh. I'll start with Paul. I was doing Murray Schafer during that, mate. Could you tell by the weirdness of my face? I was in the thinking ear space, right? Yeah, thanks for that, Paul. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Oh, it's tough. What were you working on, Paul?
Yeah, I was doing some research for myself, not for students, which is
Yes.
nice. And I was kind of carrying on some work that I was doing on the dead media stuff, but looking at digital minimalism. So where I was looking previously at dead media in a way that we can slow down and detach from the offline and online, or detach from the online, I'll start looking at kind of digital minimalism and what people are writing about around that, and the kind of digital dualism of the online and offline, and where we need to take a step back from being so online due to the addictive properties and all that kind of thing. So I'm just kind of taking the dead media stuff and going the next step.
Paul, I think you're building a book here. Are you getting a feeling that you're building a book?
I'm building lots of scrappy bits of research that I need to put together.
Right, this is huge. I'm fascinated by that. So are you dealing with some of the cold modernity theory that encircled craft work, mate? Some of the cold modernity?
Yeah, I'm starting to. Yeah, so that's a rabbit hole I'm going to be going down. I've taken it as a sidestep. Nathan Jensen wrote a really good book called The Social Photo, which is about this kind of the Instagramification of our world, and the kind of quick fix. So I've been referencing that, or looking into that, and kind of that with Cal Newport's written a really good book on digital minimalism and his experience. He's a professor in that kind of computer science and social science, and I'm kind of putting those together with a kind of a standpoint theory-esque kind of switch, and looking at it from that lens essentially. So that's where I'm trying to go, and I have no idea where it's going to go, but it's trying to unwrap kind of our unconscious standpoint and bias towards why we do what we do and why we buy into the digital world so much, and what is it actually achieving, where we could step back, be more sustainable, and probably live slightly better being slower.
Right, Paul, that's legendary. The only other random, because of course you and I are sort of doing these weird antipodal conversations together. The only work I was doing this week is looking at Leclau, without Moof, but when Leclau did that work on the difference between a floating signifier and an empty signifier. And I don't know if that's a reference that's useful to you, mate, but I've just thrown that in some of my stuff.
Yeah, I've not thought of that. That's interesting. I like it.
Might be useless, but we'll keep talking to each other through Twitter during the week. Paul, you're absolutely a legend. Damien, no pressure, mate. No pressure.
Yeah, hard act to
Published
follow.
one.
I have been reading and taking notes about LGBTQ visibility, and kind of a lot of scholarship around positive and negative visibility, and I want to discuss a bit more trends towards kind of hegemonic ideals in visibility.
Yes.
And so I'm kind of doing a bit of literature review work, and it's a paper that I'm writing with someone else at the moment that I want to sort of weave it into.
Oh, that is amazing. So you are going Gramscian War of Position?
Sorry?
You are doing Gramsci War of Position stuff?
A little bit, yeah. Just in the sense that I'm very focused on television. Television is a mainstream medium, and there is a lot of talk of in my interviews about the balance you have to take as a, and this is kind of what my thesis argues, is that there's a push and pull across the process of television production when it comes to queerness, that there are factors pushing queerness in and there are factors pulling queerness in, and there's a bit of a Venn diagram overlap that has to be navigated by the people within the industry. And the industry is full of individuals with their own positions and beliefs and ideals, and some of them represent companies that have their positions, beliefs, and ideals, and all of those things overlap in different ways to like result in a product.
This is brilliant. This is brilliant. So this is a major correction of literature that's been very problematic for a long time, Damien, about, you know, the positive and the negative representation, a very horizontal model. Again, who knew we'd be going there today? But I wonder if sort of engaging with the cascading simulacra of Baudrillard, going from the real, the representation, to the simulacra, but that it cascades. So the representation and the simulacra in the previous model becomes the real in the next one. So giving that model of representation height rather than rendering it wide. Don't know.
Yes. Yeah, I think that kind of captures this kind of the challenge that we all face. And it's just, there's no singular thread of representation. It is such a contextual thing, and it's contextual to the individual, to the company, to the station that it's on, to the streamer that's putting it on. It's impossible to put anything into a box.
Beautifully
That's
said.
fine. I mean, I'm sitting in the mess. I'm trying to.
Yeah, I love sitting in the mess. And can I say, therefore, Gramsci with that hegemonic war of position, that's the perfect theory for you, mate. That's the perfect theory.
Yeah.
Oh, legendary, Damien. I feel brighter already today. It's unbelievable. Now, Ian, you're straight in. Ian, what were you working on? What do you want to say, brother? Hi, Ian.
Hi, I just unmute myself. Hi again. Hi, Damien. I just wanted to also really quickly input into what you were talking about, and just to see if you've looked into Peggy Phelan, performance scholar, and her book Unmarked: The Politics of Performance.
I haven't, but I'm writing it down.
So she is all about what you've just been talking about. Of visibility and negative and positive aspects of visibility. She uses psychoanalysis, Lacanian psychoanalysis, goes into the gaze sort of type thing, and she's a wonderful writer, and her book is really good to read anyway. So if you haven't, then that might be.
Yeah. I am adding it to the list as we speak.
Right, yeah.
I was going to say, we're all just completely obsessed by Damien. That's just fantastic. Damien, we'll just keep throwing stuff at you, mate. It's fantastic. And
That's
Ian,
very
mate,
helpful.
oh, you're the best, mate. And Ian, what were you working on, brother?
So I'm working on an article, a journal article that I'm converting from a chapter of my PhD thesis. To be published in a journal, and so I've been sort of wrangling with the challenges of changing and adapting a thesis chapter, turn it into a journal article, which turns out is quite difficult and complicated, and takes quite a long time. And so I was just working today on establishing the aims, just writing a couple of sentences of text, establishing the aim of the article and posing 2 research questions for the article, which of course, I have to do it sort of again for this one case study, rather, because it's coming out of the whole PhD thesis.
Spot on, Ian. When I'm trying to convert work like that, I don't start the conversion till I've done the abstract. So I explain to myself, I don't know if that's useful, brother, but when I'm going, what the hell am I doing here? And so I don't move from page 1 until I've got the abstract. I go, right, okay, so other articles will come from this chapter, but this is the spine from the abstract, let's add the vertebrae.
I haven't done that, and I'll do it. I'll do it now.
It may not work, but can you report back to us if it does work? See how we go.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're the best, Ian. And look, we'll go to Joanna. How are you, my love? And again, you and Damien are sort of this beautiful pair that have joined us. So, what were you writing on, gorgeous one?
Hello. I wish I could continue Damien's thing about queer like representations, but I swapped hats this week because last week I submitted a part of my introduction to both my coordinator and my supervisor. Today I was working on my Masters of Social Work assessment. It was the policy analysis on the Parents Next, which is being abolished as of next year, July the 1st.
Wow, that is amazing. Are you hoping to get, if we get that through as an assignment, are you hoping to get that as an article or a piece as well?
I'm trying to get an in with Philip Mendez, who's a big proponent of social welfare at Monash. So yeah, who knows?
If you can get through those master's degrees with a few publications on the way through, it makes such a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, darling, well done. We're thrilled with you. Fantastic. And we're thrilled to have you here. We'll go out to Norfolk Island, out to the lady in red who makes us all feel magnificent. So what were you wrangling with this week, Megan? How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling good, but I have nothing exciting to tell you except that I was working on the admin fundamentals. So all I was writing was my supervision agreement.
Nice.
Yeah. And Johanna, I am a social worker of over 30 years practice. So hello.
Social workers are some of my favorite people. And Megan, you saw my little face. I was going, oh my goodness me. You do that supervisory contract, Alan. I've actually just got through this week a changing from a supervisory contract to a charter, which is much easier on everybody, but focuses on rights and responsibilities. So I'm sorry we didn't get that in time for you, but you are magnificent.
Thank you. And I actually supervise other social workers. That's now what I do as a JOB. So it's not a problem for me. So thank you, Tara.
You are the best in the universe. We're so excited, Megan. Thank you for everything. Can't manage without you. Let's share our time with Mary. Mary in this stressful 2 hours, and she shared a little bit of that with us. So Mary, what were you writing on, or were you just sort of reflecting and learning and shaping? Where were you, Mary?
No, I should feel better than I do, I think is what I'm trying to say. Because it still feels so unfinished, but my supervisor wants to, I've still got 4 weeks or 3 weeks, I suppose, but she wants to fill out the intention to submit form, which is great. But I just feel like I could, rewrite most of it again and do a better job. But she said, no, Mary, you just need to get it in now. So I just keep second guessing what I've written and then going back and reading, doing more reading and
Mary, darling, I always remember what your old dean says. A PhD is the worst piece of research you ever write, not the best.
yeah.
It's the first of many, all right?
Yeah. No, well, I'm at the end. I'm at the end of the chapters. It's just a bit of housekeeping I've got to sort of do now and titivating it a bit. But yeah.
Mary,
I should.
For this last couple of weeks, darling, the best thing to do is give yourself 10 small tasks to do a day. Call them sort of housekeeping. So you're cleaning the sink, you're putting the laundry on. Give yourself 10 tasks, and you'll be amazed how quickly doing the 10, you'll feel so much better about the thesis. The big picture's fine. Do a bit of house cleaning, and we're done.
Okay.
I know it's hard. It's hard to let go because it's emotional and intellectual, right?
Yes, it's so emotional. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah,
because it matters, darling. If it didn't matter, it wouldn't be emotional.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The lack of sleep doesn't help either, and just trying to get it done. Yeah. So
I'm so with you, but we are with you, darling. I hope the next hour or so goes well. All right. Everything crossed for you. Let us know how it goes. All right.
Thanks, Tara.
You're the best. Should we talk to the legend that is Susan after last week, where I ended up all goosebumps and everything unbelievable? So Susan, what were you writing on, as much as you can tell us, because I know you've got a lot of privacy issues you've got to resolve, but what were you working on?
I was looking at the feasibility of using a public database public databases to do 19th century history research.
Yes.
And these databases are public. One of them is feasible, it turns out, but the others, you know, they have a lot of limitations. And even it's the same data set. It's just that they present it different ways and they allow you to search it different ways. And only one of them, I mean, I was really surprised. Only one of them allows you to search it in a way that you can actually use the data, you know, for research.
And see, this is not good enough. That's why data protection, data analysis, you know, it's everything. And that's why we need to empower librarians, empower information professionals, because we need high quality information in the public sphere to enable citizenship. If people can't get the right information and don't know how to interpret it, we are doomed. We are doomed.
Exactly. Thank you.
Oh, Susan, you're unbelievable. It matters so much to me. And also, we talked about it a bit in the last digital office hours, the importance of unobtrusive research methods. So treading lightly on the earth, looking at the data sets that already exist and using them in a sustainable and careful way.
Exactly. And when I finish with this phase of this work, I'm going to do some salami slicing.
Exactly. Oh, I want to read this. You are just, I feel it's just, what a gift you have been to us this year, Susan. I'm so grateful. So grateful.
You've been a gift to me. All of you have been a gift to me. So
I'm going to start
Thank you.
weeping uncontrollably, Susan. You're amazing, Susan. Should we go to our other dear friend, our staunch one, our fabulous staunch one, Queen Gay? Gay, what were you working on, my love? You've had a big week. What are you working on, darling?
I am doing the original, the initial thinking about a paper on, or called, "Is History Dangerous?"
Ooh. Kylie, we got another t-shirt. Oh, what a title. That's what I've described in a previous life as a lipstick title, Gay. So everyone needs a good big red lipstick title, and that's one of them. Right. Any argument, or you just got the title? The title's great.
I've got some points to make so far. I don't have, well, yeah, actually, history itself is not dangerous because it's just what happened,
Well,
but it's what you do with how you disseminate your ideas about it that is dangerous.
I think that's very powerful. It may also, we talked about Laclau with our Paul. Laclau focused very strongly on the consequences of history for creating populism. So again, there may be a bit of Laclau work for you, because of course, I think Mouffe was an historian. His wonderful wife was an historian. Laclau was many things, but that could be something too, Gay, the movement into populism, that a particular cutting of inverted commas history allows some groups to think that particular things didn't occur and they can mask injustice and inequality. Don't know if that's where you're thinking it could go.
Can somebody give me that reference that you just...
Darling, I will. I'll send you the link, because actually bits of it are free and online. So on our social media connection later, I'll send you the link.
Okay, because I actually sent you a message a couple of weeks ago and I'm not even sure you've read it. So
oh, darling one, as I said, I apologize. The last 2 weeks have been a bit challenging, but I'll make sure I send that link to you this Arvo. So
that'd
yeah,
be great. Thank you.
Laclau and Mouffe were interesting because particularly before their death, and you know, in the 2000s, they were great on thinking about realism in new ways. So that I think might be useful for that piece, but we'll see, Gay. We'll see.
Thank you.
Oh, that's made my life. Should we go to the legendary Maeve? Maeve, what were you writing? I know your supervisors were hard on you this week. What were you writing, Maeve?
It was a good session. I was writing a sort of, what would you say, a chapter planning for psychogeography. So
yes.
I wouldn't say I'm fully all over it, but I'm, you know, chunking away in a solid way. And I just wanted to see, you know, what came out on that. And yeah, there's plenty to do, but also I think I'm getting that bigger picture on psychogeography, which is really what I needed. And I'm just going to put everything I've done even when it's free writing, I'm just going to put it all into one document and see.
We're there now. Yeah, do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And so,
that's
Maeve, I
nice.
think that's brilliant. So you've got the headings. That's what I was going to say to you about psychogeography. Have hyper headings, have lots and lots of headings, and then as the prose starts to smooth, you can then remove the headings.
Yeah.
Oh.
And yeah, so that's okay. There were, I know. I woke up in the middle of the night. I'm thinking about arcs, not as in boats.
Like
And
Noah.
I'm thinking about narrative arcs, and I'm thinking about exegetical arcs. And yeah, and then I'm having wild thoughts about women writers that I follow, if you like. So yeah, it was fairly wild, but I was planning arcs. I have no idea what I said to myself in the middle of the night, but that's what I was doing.
Well, I'm exegetical arcs. I mean, Kylie, that's another T-shirt slogan. We're there, mate. We are so there. When we work out what that means, Maeve, I'm going to be more impressed than I am now. No, but can I say, Maeve, the great thing about having a narrative arc for your creative work and then an exegetical arc is they've got to cross. But the trouble is, and this is where probably, are they arcs or are they something else? Because they've sort of got to do this. They've got to entwine like a plait a bit. So the thing about an arc is they sort of meet. But I would argue probably they need to do that. They need to undulate.
I was going to say swim. I thought you were swimming, but undulate is fine.
Can arcs undulate? I think that verb does not work, Maeve. It does not. But I love the arcs, and we've just got to try and find a way to create like a matrix from the arcs. Oh, this is getting weird. My head hurts. Oh, yeah. Right, you keep having those really restful dreams that you're having, Maeve. They're going incredibly well by the sound of it. Thank you for everything. Should we go to our favourite redhead? Corley. What were you writing on after I destroyed your life last week?
I was actually starting to play around with a bit more of my data and sending or hustling some of the outstanding data from local governments as well. So the ever so nicely, hint, you promised you'd send it back. I know you're really busy. Please. So yeah, so I did that and then just inputting it into the Excel spreadsheet so I can start actually looking at it a bit better.
Oh, that is exciting, Dara.
Yeah, so onto that next, the next data phase, really getting into that. And again, can I ask a really silly question?
Yeah.
Talking around all the ethics as we have for the last hour and then for this hour, and I'll keep it short because I've seen what the time is. If my ethics application had that I was going out to all the councils, getting the data, if I'm then going to also do unobtrusive and see what's out in the ethos, do I need to update my ethics?
Well, and this is a great question. Of course, it links with the wonderful Susan's work and Gay's work. In the old days, Kylie, so I tell you what, I'm going to take that question on notice, but I'll give you an initial answer. Right. So in the old days, unobtrusive research methods, you only needed ethics if humans, the environment, the landscape, something was hurt or harmed. Right. So unobtrusive research is non-reactive research. You're not touching anything. Nothing is changed by what you're doing. The issue now with where ethics is at in terms of harm is, can your interpretation harm? So what I would perhaps do is I would log it. This would be a very, very low stakes, low risk thing, but I would just go back to your university and say, these are the data sets you want to look at using unobtrusive research methods. So non-reactive data sets, unobtrusive research methods. Yep. For this reason, are you cool? I think it's best to be cautious.
Yeah.
But as I said in the old days, if you're not hurting anybody, if nothing's changing, why would you require ethics? But I think that ship might have sailed.
Oh, good. I just want to make sure I don't get to the end and I'm like,
no,
like we talked earlier.
Like the rest of it. But tell you what, Carl, let's you and I talk about that through the weekend like we do, and then we'll return to it, and let's be cautious.
Yeah, cool.
You are magnificent. Shall we go to Anastasia, who I'm so thrilled to see? Are you okay, darling? What were you working on, beautiful?
I was basically listening to the recording of my meeting with one of my supervisors and was writing down a summary because I don't know, is it because I'm a non-native speaker or just it's who I am? It's very hard for me when I talk to people. So yeah, it's all clear. I understand that. Yeah, that's nice. And then when the meeting is over, so what did they say? We were talking for an hour. So now actually I always did my Zoom recordings, but now I even record our face-to-face sessions, just use my phone and use an app. And yeah, I was listening to it and yeah, writing down the summary because I have started coding and it's really hard.
It is. It is.
Sometimes I feel like I'm drowning, so I cannot do what I'm supposed to do because my topic is about feedback histories. So I'm trying to find connections between past feedback experiences and current feedback actions. So trying to find what influences what students do at the moment in their current courses. So yeah, at the moment it's all over the place.
Sweetness, you're doing incredibly well, and don't judge yourself or question yourself about that sonic looping. Obviously, I'm looking straight at Paul. I mean, Anastasia is our people. We dream of students like you, Anastasia. You are the dream student, right? And recognize that the Open University, through most of its history, delivered its material sonically, delivered it on old cassette tapes. Those of you that remember that, you could get it there. And because they did that, because sonic delivery is deeper. The sonic signifier engages with signifieds, your meaning system, with a lot more depth. So don't think you're doing anything wrong or anything weird. You're doing deep learning. So you keep doing exactly that. All right.
Thank you.
You're the best. Emma, do you want to just say hello? I know you're reaching over to something fabulous, but Emma, do you want to say hello? Oh, we've got a cat. You want to say hi, Emma? What were you working on, beautiful Emma?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, very excellent. Yes, it was a bit of a choppy session. I started off with a project that's been published on a website, but now writing up for a peer-reviewed journal, and really came to a point that I almost a dead end and realized, okay, the reason for this is for the actual project report, we were asked not to go into history because everyone knows it. For the peer-reviewed journal, I'm actually going to have to bring in history, and that means I'm going to have to step back and rethink and even do a bit of reading. So set that aside really quickly. So that was 8 minutes in, and
Good.
thought, what can I do that's not reading, that's writing? There's one paragraph in the journal article that's about methodology that I'm expanding into a full book chapter for a book next year.
Right.
And so I started to work on that. So a bit of shifting of mind, I think, halfway through.
That is brilliant. I can't wait to read that methodology chapter. That's brilliant, Emma. You superstar. And that gorgeous cat's making me feel happy too. Brilliant. Thank you, Emma, for being here. You are legendary. And look, noting the time, we will finish with the finisher. We're gonna get this thesis through together, team. Can you imagine the day Dina finishes, by the way? We are all going to lose our minds. Dina, what were you writing on during Write Club? Come on.
So I was finalizing my result chapter that finger crossed I will be sending it to my supervisor today. And like I mentioned yesterday, I had a aha moment last week when for a grounded theory research, I moved my theory building from the paradigm to a conditional consequential matrix. So the paradigm, it's like a more linear, straightforward condition, action, interaction, consequence, interrelationship. But in my data set, there's a lot of action, reaction that are being responded by more action and reaction, and then again and again. And like the theory mentioned, it's like a billiard ball that it keeps on hitting the ball until it goes to the pocket. So it cannot be one linear process. So I want to capture the data result at it is, and I want to argue my position to my supervisor. So I don't know how she would react, but I'm putting everything together, and I just want to make sure that all of the small data is not forgotten. Like, for example, even for one simplified action reaction, for example, being a member of a voluntary disaster response team, it's not a straightforward, okay, you're a member, this is what we do, and at the end of the day, this is what our outcome is. But in their journey, they have met a lot of challenges. For example, even they have like this shared values of helping each other, meeting the sense of happiness in meeting each other in the response area. Even with those kind of good moral values, good motive, there are people that are gossiping at their back on what their motives are to do that. And even they are saying, well, your work is considered dirty job, and that's why there's a lot of like what do you call it, a demotivation among these members. And it also capture how they have their motivation together, how they come together. And at the end of the day, they are very what do you call it, deep rooted in the community, that the community say, if anything happens, just go to these people. Like for even they do like they help mentally challenged villagers that are not in their mandate. They help evacuate people who are deceased that are not in their mandate. It's just like they have this whole influence in the community, and then the community just can't live without them anymore, because they are the people that are giving like problems solving matters, although at the beginning they had to face a lot of challenge, and until now they still face a lot of challenge. So that is what I'm arguing. Moving from a linear diagram to a more like flowy processes, where it really captures the process that they are dealing with. So
Dina, you're doing beautifully. And the thing about grounded theory, and I have a whole series of things about grounded theory, as you know, but one of the gifts of grounded theory is, I know there's this notion of saturation. I think Brené Brown's research post-saturation, because she argued, data sets didn't reach that node of saturation. But then she confirmed that those areas, those nodes of information were actually as important, but they just didn't present to saturation. So I'm terribly proud of you that you're not just leaving those outlier data points in the car park, and they are meaningful for you. You are legendary, Dina. Colleagues, what a morning we've had. We are so thrilled and proud to see you all every week. You are inspirational to me. Have a lovely week. Ian, you are a light to us. Kylie, you're legendary. Colleagues, see you next week. You are a blessing. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a good weekend.
Sleep well, team. Bye.